Hey there, my name is Amanda, also known as Ketoginja. Doing another one of my coffee sit-down chit-chats with you guys. What I typically like to do is answer frequently asked questions or kind of sound off on a topic that I find very often in the comments. So this one is a little bit of both. One of the questions that I get constantly is, why do you not track your macros? Dun dun dun. This is a very layered answer. The easy answer is because it is triggering for me personally. Now, before I launch into this whole grand explanation, just to kind of give you guys a little bit more insight into what makes me me, I want to remind you that I am in no way, shape, or form a medical professional. I am not a doctor or a nurse or a nutritionist. I started this channel just to kind of give an insight into what keto looked like for me and my highs and lows along the journey, both in weight loss and many other different areas. So tracking macros can be crucial to some people's keto. Some people cannot figure out exactly what they're supposed to be eating without seeing it written out on a little journal, piece of paper, or an app. I like to liken it to everybody learns differently. Some people that learn really well by being shown what to do. You have some people that read it for themselves and grasp a whole big understanding. I think keto is really similar because for some people, tracking macros is crucial, and it's the only way that they're able to stay organized, stay dedicated, and able to keep losing weight. They like seeing the numbers. They are data lovers. Let's call them data lovers. These are the people that really always have a question about the numbers and the exacts and the specifics. Now, I mentally wish that I could be that type of person. To be obsessed with the data would be really, really wonderful if I could do it in a healthy way. So now let's talk about why I can't do that. I haven't really talked to you guys much about this because it is extremely personal for me. I don't even know how to say this. I guess I just have to blurt it out. I've dealt with eating disorders off and on since I was probably 10 years old. That wasn't as hard to say as I thought it was going to be. Having an eating disorder is really similar to being a drug addict, and the fact that you can be clean or in some kind of remission, but it's always something that lingers with you. It stays forever. It stays forever. I've been bulimic. I've been anorexic. I've been a binge eater. I've lied about what I'm eating. I've hidden what I've eaten. Really anything that you can think of that's poisonous regarding consuming food, I've been that person at some point in my life. So, because of that, I don't always have the healthiest response to food, period. Keto food or otherwise. I do not always have the strength and the courage to be able to obsess about food. So, tracking data triggers me. Tracking every little thing that I put in my mouth and exactly how many numbers it adds up to is very, very difficult for me to do without spiraling into eating disorder land. And that's just me being brutally honest with you guys. This is not something that I feel happens for everybody. There are plenty of people that data can be encouraging for them, and the numbers are what really make them go, and it's what makes them tick. For me, I get very anxious. I start to have a lot of negative self-talk in my head if I don't meet the numbers that I think are my goals. This is awkward. The reason that I wanted to talk about this today is because there's no right way to do this for every single person. If you are finding that tracking and obsessing about the numbers is causing you some kind of anguish or strife, you don't have to do that in order to feel your best in eating a ketogenic diet. Losing weight is just part of the process, but it's not the most important part. For me, I've always kind of just gone by how I felt. Now, I'm sure that I lose weight slower than people who are aggressively tracking. If I tracked every morsel that came and went in my mouth, I could probably lose, you know, triple what I'm losing now. But I'm okay with that, because the mental anguish that comes with tracking and being responsible for every little thing that comes and goes in my body is just stressful for me personally. I'm not telling you don't track. If that's working for you and you love it and the self-talk that you have about tracking is really great, I am so freaking happy for you. I'm not capable of doing that. I have great intentions and I'll pull up a carb tracker app and before you know it, I'm crying because I ate 3 more net carbs than I was supposed to. I don't like feeling like that. I don't want to feel like I'm punishing myself for choosing to eat this way and choosing to live this lifestyle. Now, that's the deep and heavy shit as to why I don't track. Here's the simple stuff. Cooking elaborate meals and preparing elaborate meals is hard enough without me having to constantly read every spec of a nutrition label to make sure that it fits my macros perfectly. Yes, I read labels. Yes, I pay attention to ingredients, but I basically just kind of get the net carb number and roll with it. And that's worked really well for me. That's why I'd consider myself lazy keto or dirty keto. If you're strict keto, you basically do the opposite of what I'm saying to do. And that's fine too. There is a place in this for everybody. There's also the reality that every single ingredient that you pick up has different macros than the one next to it. So you could be picking up a bag of almond flour at Hy-Vee in your state, and I could be picking up a bag of almond flour at Publix in mine, and the numbers on the labels could vary greatly. That's another reason that I don't track. I feel like it's really difficult for me to tell you guys macros and net carbs on recipes because it's going to vary if you change even the slightest thing. I've even seen spices side by side that have different macros. So that's why I don't tell you guys what the macros are on the recipes and the things that I cook. You have to figure it out for yourself, and it's going to vary depending on which ingredients you use. From time to time, if I'm gaining weight or I am not steadily losing, which for me in maintenance, I still am happy if I stay the same or lose a pound a week. But sometimes I'll think that I can handle emotionally bringing in tracking, and I'll pull up my app and I'll pull up the little, the pieces of paper and all the meal planning, and I start writing down all these numbers, and before I know it, I'm spiraling into kind of a place of shame. And I know that's really, it's probably TMI for you guys. You didn't ask for like a mental health checkup, but I'm getting asked constantly why I don't track macros, and I don't want to just give some vague and stupid answer. The truth of the matter is that my personal mental health can't track macros and also be happy. It's just not possible for me. I fall into this place of just kind of beating myself up on the inside for not reaching certain goals or attaining certain numbers. So for me, it's a no-no. I know that it's not me living my best self because I'm not nice to myself. I don't enjoy that mean inner dialogue, so I basically do anything I can to stay away from that. Now, I've been eating this way for over 2 years, so it is very easy for me to maintain somewhere around 20 net carbs without tracking. If that isn't possible for you and you can handle it emotionally, I highly encourage you to track. It's fascinating to see just how those macros change based on increasing the serving size a little bit, adding a little bit more this or a little bit less that. It is definitely interesting. I don't want to sway you from tracking if it's working for you. However, if you are feeling increased anxiety and stress and triggered by tracking, you don't have to track to have success. You just don't. You might lose weight a little bit slower. You might overdo it on your portions here and there. But if that means that you're laying down at night and you're not fighting yourself in the head about what you ate throughout the day and you just feel good and know that you stuck to the plan, that's good enough for me and has been, and I have had a lot of success that way. It's very important no matter how you're eating, whether it's keto, standard American diet, vegetarian, vegan, no matter how you're eating, your inner dialogue is so, so important. Are you laying down at night and being nice to yourself? Or are you beating yourself up for the choices that you made? This is a very important question to ask yourself, you guys, because your mental health is such a huge component into losing weight, happiness, your health, how you feel. Everything is tied up into your inner dialogue. So I really hope that if you are tracking and you're having difficulties, maybe you can start to come at it from a different place so you can reduce some of the anxiety regarding tracking. If you are tracking and loving it and living your best data entry life, I freaking salute you. I'm envious a hair because I would really like to be able to do that without having negativity swirling around. So maybe one day I will be there. Maybe one day I'll be at a point in my journey where it makes sense for me to try again. But for now, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and eating a super low carb diet and eating the foods that make me feel both physically healthy and mentally healthy as well. I love you guys. Thank you for popping in. If you are new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around with us. We do a lot of these sit-down keto discussions. We do family-friendly keto and meals that even your non-keto family will enjoy. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you really soon.